Dun, 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 dun. It's Crypto Night in Canada. Yay! How are you, everybody?
We're all good. How are you?
I'm especially good today because it is the freaking Oracle's birthday. Happy birthday! I'm especially good today.
Okay.
Oh, you're on mute.
Happy birthday, Ken.
There we go.
Looks like you got a birthday haircut. You look like a completely different Oracle now.
Yes.
He almost looks like Buddha.
I'm
Do we get crypto luck if we rub your belly?
Yeah, I'm monking it. I call it monking.
Monk. I like it.
Okay.
Look, it does even make you look like the freaking Oracle up here too, see? Well, you know. How's everybody's week been so far?
Rocking and rolling, chilling and nilling. We're getting close to summer, so good times ahead.
Really?
Yeah. Busy.
I think so. I'm looking forward to summertime.
Okay, good.
Rock and roll.
There you go. Oh, Moonbright's in the house. Hi, Moonbright. We haven't seen you here for a while. It's good to see you. Riley, Jason, Marie-Claude. Everybody's in the house. The party can begin. Oh, you know who we're missing tonight? Mr. Danter had to do a lesson, a night driving lesson. And so when we're in the daylight savings, it gets dark later. So he's out working.
That's good though.
At least someone's bringing home the bacon.
Did you guys figure out?
Usually that's me. You know, the food person brings home the bacon.
Did you guys figure out where you're moving?
No.
Not yet.
You know, it is the most stressful thing. I can't even begin to tell you how upsetting it is when you don't know where you're going to go. And we haven't really talked about it all that much on this channel. Maybe you guys have on yours a bit more, but the real estate market is horrendous right now, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's horrendous. And I don't know what's going to happen here. I usually have a good idea when you can have some foresight on things, but I was in the office for the first time this week and I ran into one of the gals that works up like in the office. I haven't seen her in 2 years, right? Some of these people I've not laid eyes on in so long. And so anyways, she opened up really quickly to me and I don't even know why we got onto the subject, but she got into a divorce situation. And so when they split the house, you know, she thought for a while she'd go live at her girlfriend's. So she rents the basement of her girlfriend's place just while she was trying to figure out what to do. And it all happened leading into this. And now she's caught in the crosshairs and she goes, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to afford a house again. I just don't think on my own, I don't think I will ever be able to get back in the market. I was trying. Here she was going to take the equity that she got from the divorce. She's sitting on it, but she was waiting to get her head into the right space about where she wanted to go and what she was healing, right? And she got caught in the crosshairs. And I felt for her. Like I thought the two of us had a moment in the office, and I'm not sure if anybody else in the viewing audience has been feeling like this, but it's depressing when you see what's going on out there.
My number one goal when I started this channel was get the RRSP up to a point where I can withdraw it for a down payment on a house. Buying a house is not part of my plan in the next 2 or 3 years, like at all, unless something bad happens. Things change, and that's definitely one of them. So I have no intention of buying a house if this is, I mean, I've always thought about it, and I mean, like in the grand scheme of things, let's just say I don't even live to be 80. Let's just say I'm a 60-year-old guy and I kick the can. Is $1 million to rest my head for the luxury of saying I own it versus rent it? I'm priced out. So my plans have changed. It's affected me big time.
Yeah. And then I think about, you know, in our particular case, so we rent, and I think we've mentioned that before. Our primary residence is we rent. Now, but anything else we own, we own it to have it as a rental income. Tim and I read an article about this. I don't know whether I posted it in the Crypto Night in Canada group, but there was another couple who had a whole pile of rental places and they weren't actually living in any of their own personal residence. And they were saying that that could put you underwater. The arguments that went back and forth underneath this article, it's no wonder we're all confused about what to do. Some people say that's ridiculous. You should own your own home and live in your home and da-da-da-da. Other people are like, no. You should have rental units and don't. And like, it's a pile of confusion. There's a whole pile of confusion out there.
Yeah.
If you're in the fringe markets and you're not near the GTA, I think you could still get something. Because Ken, you talked about that. There's still property down in your neck of the woods where it's still affordable. I think even Ottawa has some affordable housing. That's where you are. Carrie in the comments made a comment like, she said, move to Alberta. There's still some good pricing out there. But anything, if you got to be near the GTA, and businesses are requiring it, they're calling people back. My boss, I was in the office this week. I've been at 3 meetings this week in the GTA. Next week, he's called me into the office for a meeting. I'm like, how can I buy something and be hours and hours away from the Greater Toronto area? I can't. I am trapped. I'm trapped. I'm one of these. I'm a person on a hamster wheel. I'm trapped. There's no two ways about it.
The only place I know that has really cheap real estate is like Cape Breton Island in Nova Scotia.
It's beautiful there.
And you can get insanely cheap houses.
Why?
Jobs.
Nobody wants to live there. There's no jobs.
Yeah.
If you need medical care, you're pretty much pooched. But you'll have a nice view as you die.
Nice.
Well,
That's
okay.
a plus.
So speaking of nice views when you die, this is no fooling. Question: what is more important, how you live for the next 5 years, or the living for beyond that? This is what a girlfriend of mine asked me today. She said, well, you have to decide what your next 5 years look like. I go, I can't even figure out what the next 5 months is going to be like. Have you not seen the state of the world? Like, I can't figure out if we're going to be in a famine, if we're going to have no fuel. I can't figure out any of this stuff.
All I know is if I don't answer this right, future me is going to kick my butt. So I'm going to say
exactly
long term.
Candace, that's exactly it. You hit the nail on the head. If you don't answer that right, future you is going to be mad.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what guidance counselors always ask students. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Yeah.
So I think it's like
like
a blanketed statement. It's a blanketed statement.
Like, it's very hard for a student to even comprehend what it's going to be like 5 years, because that's a long amount of time for them. As you get older, 5 years it's nothing.
Yeah,
It's basically 5 shivers away.
Yeah.
Okay, go back 5 years. 5 years ago, it was 2018. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No.
17.
2017. If you were sitting as yourself in 2017, would you ever have imagined if somebody had said, oh yeah, and by the way, you're going to go through a pandemic and you're going to be set in your home for 2 years straight? Would you have believed yourself?
No.
No.
I would have believed myself because I don't lie.
That's only if you'd gone like in a Back to the Future kind of way and went back and told yourself. But if somebody, so we're sitting here now, we don't know what the state of the world is going to be like in 5 years. How do you decide these things?
So, okay, but hold on. So can I just add, okay, so if we're going to bring this back to real estate, then the point of real estate, if it's not a rental unit, would be to obviously lay your head at night and then hopefully build equity, right? But at the end of the day, is this the perfect moment in the cycle to buy in where you're guaranteed equity growth like they were a few years ago, 5 years ago? That's the difference. And it's like, for me, like, and I think that your question has more to do with age than anything else, because for me, I don't know if I'm going to live to be 65 or 70. I friggin' hope so, but I definitely need to focus on the next 5 years of stability to set the 5 years up after that. And I feel almost like I got a late start in it. So with respect to how I set myself up or lack thereof, but I'm more focused on the next 5 years. But that's my thing with real estate is like, I'm not against real estate. I just feel like I would be screwed buying at this price. And if you like 25% down, unless I want to live in a trailer park, and not that there's anything wrong with that in case anyone's watching, I'm just saying, like, unless I want to buy that, I can't afford anything else.
Right.
Like, so I'm hooped until the next cycle drop.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's talk about cycle drops and things like that, because there has been a lot in the news this week about Bitcoin and crypto being adopted more frequently. And I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I do believe I watched one of your live market closes, Ryan, and I think something even might have come out of your mouth that things are changing with regards to crypto.
I think I heard him yesterday say something about Bitcoin being a store of value, and I was like, what?
I was going to say that, well, my fib retracements have been there since I started the whole market close. They've been there for months. And the fact that it's been dancing in the same channel, I don't care if it goes between the channel. That's fine. I mean, that's totally normal. But the fact that it's maintained that channel for a significant amount of time, a tight channel, like not a huge one, but a good tight one, yeah, that lends to store of value territory for sure. Then you got to counteract that with the fact, though, that everyone who owns Bitcoin, 60% of them plus are not actually selling it. So there isn't actually much price volume or like fluctuations that can even possibly happen. Now, do I think, though, when there's like mass adoption, then I think there's going to be crazy price fluctuations again, because people are going to be like, holy shit, I can spend this in the United States. I can do whatever the heck you want. But I thought that was unique. And two, I think Honduras is starting to play ball. And then you had that OTC transaction. Here it's on our, I don't know if it's on our Venture or TSX or whatever, but it was Galaxy Digital for Goldman.
Yeah.
Unique too. Yeah.
Yep. And Japan just made a green list of acceptable cryptocurrency coins to be able to trade on their exchanges over there. They're going to make it easier and faster, and they're going to have a vetting process to approve coins, which is good. And then I had a thing, Anthony Pompliano posted a thing today that Florida is going to legalize Bitcoin, that Governor DeSantis has stated that he's going to find a way. And Anthony Pompliano said, listen, people aren't going to pay their taxes in crypto. They may pay it in stable coins because the payment rails are quicker and they don't want to be flipping back and forth. So what do you think about all this, Mr. Ken?
That's interesting. Very interesting. The only thing I've heard this week is that Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to pump. Ethereum's going to hit 10,000 this year. Everybody's pumping it, but I don't see any movement. That's the thing. Everybody's, in for the party, but the party hasn't started, and I don't know what catalyst is going to make that party start.
Candace?
Yeah.
I think right now Bitcoin has begun moving. We're starting to see a breakout of one of my smaller channels that's moving upwards. I'm very optimistic about where it could be. I think a week from today, we'll be talking about a completely different story, because I think we're going to be talking about, are we going to break 50K? It's not going to be are we still going to be in that channel? Things are moving. Things are happening. And the altcoins are starting to move too. Even Polkadot's been coming up really big time. And when we get to the metaverse tonight, wait till you see some of the moves that have happened in there.
Yeah, it's very interesting times indeed. And this goes back down to what I first fell in love with Bitcoin about, was that it was a very limited supply of it. So when you've got a supply shortage, it drives the price up. That's what makes everything valuable. It's no different than the real estate market right now. The supply of the available homes is what's causing the buyers that are looking to have this feeding frenzy when they go in and see dilapidated buildings and decide, I have to have it for $1.5 million, right? So it's the same thing. People are going to be frenzied about buying into Bitcoin. And for everybody in this group and in our community that have been dollar cost averaging on these currencies for a while, it's going to be a good news story, I think.
Well, that'll play into when the mass adoption happens. Because right now it's what 1% or something that's invested in cryptocurrency. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we'll see that frenzy for another at least 5 years.
Why do you
is when
say
we'll see
5?
that frenzy. Well, you got to plan five years down the road, right? I think in 5 years, Bitcoin's gonna hit the mainstream big time.
Just Bitcoin or all of them?
Well, all of them, but I think mainly Bitcoin because that's the one everybody talks about. It'll be Bitcoin and Ethereum. They'll be the top catalysts.
I mean, and Bitcoin is that gateway drug to the rest. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like when you get into crypto, what do you start with? Ethereum and Bitcoin, and then you move down the list, right? So
Yeah. Moonbright said Malaysia is also looking to have BTC as legal tender. I did see that. Too in the news. So they've all got to get them as regulatory items so that at least companies know how to hold them on their exchanges that are on their balance sheets. So that's another aspect of it. So they've got to go down this route in order to get this mass adoption happening. But these are all good signs that we're moving in the right direction.
And that's what you're saying there. All the regulatory stuff. That's the stuff that's going to take the time, right? Look at Ripple right now. How long's it been? Unfortunately, that's the part that's going to be the catalyst that slows everything down. But once those hoops are achieved, there's going to be a victory for everybody.
Once more of these smaller countries adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, the rest of the world interacts with these countries. It's going to put pressure on the regulatory bodies to start saying, we need to figure this out now because we're already dealing with El Salvador, Malaysia, Japan, whoever is getting into this ball game. So,
yeah, okay. I think it should be a free market unless you sell X amount of the currency, then you're taxed on it. I think that would be the easiest way to get it into mass adoption. Because then the hurdles are very small. The SEC and every other compliance officer out there, they can write up all these agreements for it and whatnot, and laws and rules. It's a lot easier that way.
So let me ask you this question. Oh my God. I got thinking about Tim for a second and my question went right out my head. That has not happened to me in a long time.
Brain fart.
Oh.
I was thinking about whether he was driving home and if he was okay. Honey, are you okay? I know he's watching. Anyways, he came in my mind. I hope that doesn't mean I'm thinking about him and something bad happened. Anyways,
well, probably because the last time he posted, he said that he was looking out for moose. So,
oh, he's not that far away from home. So let's quickly continue down this vein about mass adoption because I still think that what will happen when the United States decides that they have to have some Bitcoin on their balance sheet? What happens when that happens? There isn't very much of it to be had.
There's always a price. There is always a price for everybody. They'll get it if they want it at the end of the day, but that could really drive up the price, yada, yada, yada. I'm more on Ken's side of this, like 5 years down the road. They can't even figure out legalized marijuana down there, let alone changing their monetary policy. Seems like a bit of a stretch. Like I'm thinking it's going to be a little while, and it provides us with ample amount of time to DCA into something if you believe in it, whatever project that may be, and then sit on it. I mean, is anyone into Bitcoin so that they can sell it in 5 years? And that's kind of the whole thing. I don't think for all the 60% of wallet holders that aren't moving their Bitcoin, they're thinking 10, 15 years at least. They're not touching a dime. Right. So, and if there only is 1 to 2% of people trading crypto from the get-go, once the boomers who have all the cash, I hate to say this, once this baby boomer generation starts moving on, which is starting to slowly happen. I hate to say this. We all have family members that are like this. This is just
true though.
Yeah. But once the baby boomers start to go, then we're going to start to see more. Baby boomers are going to start, unfortunately, fading away between right freaking now and the next 10 years, and like heavily. So that's going to put a lot more money into a lot more younger minds. And I just think I'm totally on Ken's team for this one.
But now, wouldn't you think countries like the United States and Canada would use Bitcoin like gold and back
We
their
sold all of our
own-
gold. And
Yeah, but no, but you know how
But-
the American dollar used to be backed by gold, right? What if they used Bitcoin as a gold backing
Oh,
for
never.
their own cryptocurrency, their own country token?
With gold mining, you had control over mining prospects. There was not a limited supply or anything like that. With Bitcoin, it's already too far down the road. The fact that Michael Saylor owns what Michael Saylor owns means that could never happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like-
Well, then what happens if the U.S. just forgets about Bitcoin altogether and just makes their own crypto?
That's the alternative too. That's the freaky side of what could happen too if they were to ban it and go pure CBDC. That's the alternative.
Because
Like-
there are talks, I've read articles that's swirling around there that that is a big possibility, right?
Did you guys, Candace in particular, did you see that Luna is going to have their stable coin backed by Bitcoin? Did you see that?
I did. And in fact, that's what's really interesting. They're going to be buying more Bitcoin than Michael Saylor owns.
Yeah.
That's going to be what that is going to ultimately do is it's going to raise the basement, so the bottom level of Bitcoin. So people who think that Bitcoin can go to zero or can go to 10,000, they're sadly mistaken. Once they buy all this Bitcoin, I wouldn't be surprised if our bottom gets even as high as 35 to 40,000.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now the bottom is basically where Elon Musk and Michael Saylor got in. They got in around 30,000 to 32,000 in that area. So that's where, and that has held. It has held really well. I mean, we wicked down a year ago or so once to 28, but we've never gone below that. And it's been an insane level of support. This is going to bolster that, and it's going to go up higher. So it'll be very interesting. I think it will also ultimately help, at least on the lower end, remove a lot of volatility in the market. So that's a huge thing. And it is going to happen. They have already started. They've already started moving stuff on their wallets. So they're preparing for this. This is going to happen soon.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember in January when I said we're heading back to the top of my really big channel, this is a catalyst that could get us well on the way to that happening.
Do you own Luna?
I don't own Luna. I have a lot of Bitcoin, but not Luna.
Dan. Why did I think your name was Dan? Ken, do you own any Luna? Do we have anybody in the chat that owns Luna? I know Ryan doesn't own any Luna. I shouldn't say that. Ryan, do you own any Luna?
No. Bitcoin, ETH, Solana. That's it.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting because we talked a lot. Isn't that Terra Luna?
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And Marie Claude does. Marie said Luna has kept my wallet alive for the last year. Yeah. So
Hold on. Speaking of this, can I just, because I only learned about Luna like 5 freaking minutes ago when I saw Nate and Candace both freaking killed it. But those two crypto videos back to back were badass. I got to give Nate a shout out. Candace,
they were
obviously.
fabulous.
I learned more about those. Like I was like, okay, this is banging. I was loving it. So anyway, both videos awesome. You had one, Candace, and then our friend, the General Nate, had another one too. Quick
Here's
shout
the
out.
funny thing. I was talking to Nate a couple weeks ago. I said, Nate, I have this stupid idea. And he was like, what's that? I said, let's make the exact same video. He was like, okay. So I said, all right, we'll come up with it. We'll do the 8 tips and the tips will be the same on both channels. And then we'll do our own little wrappers around it. And that's what we did.
I thought it was hysterical. It was so good. So good. So
Also, and just to finalize that, I can't be the only one who thinks he should be editing Hollywood films. So let's just put it out there. It's insane. Nate, congrats.
Well,
Candace,
here's
congrats.
the thing.
Okay.
I was making these little twirly letters and I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to try to keep up with Nate. And then I look at Nate's and I'm like, oh, dear God, I'm nowhere's close.
he's got to make church interesting.
Okay, I
And
got a
think
question
he
for you
does.
guys. What do you guys, considering you guys are more into the alt stuff, what do you believe about Solana? Because I'll tell you right now, it's pure ignorant money that I've placed in Solana. And when I say that, it's because I don't really vibe with NFTs. I don't really vibe with that whole space. I'm not really going to be a part of it. Even if it blows up, I can't see myself as a physical human being being a part of that like vibe. But I bought into Solana because every god dang interview that I watch, every single one, what are you invested in? Well, Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana. If they had $1 billion, they own Solana. And it was like the weirdest thing. It was everybody. And I'm just like, it was weird too. I spoke to my, I guess, not sister-in-law anymore. Spoke to her the other day. She works for the government. Oh yeah, everyone in the government, we're just buying up Solana and Bitcoin. And I'm like, I don't understand Solana. So I want to ask you guys what you think.
Solana is in many ways like buying Walmart. And what I mean by that is it's sort of like the welfare version of Ethereum, because it has a blockchain and people are starting to build on it, but it doesn't have the insane gas fees. That's what's the attraction for a lot of companies who are trying to keep their costs down. And as a result of that, that's what's made it popular. And that's what's probably going to keep it popular. A lot of people will still prefer Ethereum, but anybody who's really counting their dollars is probably going to take a very hard look at Solana. And that
what you just said makes a lot of sense, because if I go check like the gas fees, for instance, but if I go check like Mark Cuban, Kevin O'Leary has one, Gary Vee, obviously we know him in this space, everyone who seems to have a ton of cash, if you open up their NFT, like I guess their showroom on their personal websites, it's 90% sold. And then very little ETH. I don't know where they bought the ETH stuff, probably OpenSea or whatever. And it was the one thing where I don't know anything about it, but I'm kind of tying that bit of cash to someone else's horse, if that makes any sense. So if you got,
it looks like DeFi Land is a project on there. And DeFi Land, wasn't that on our pick, Candace? One of the projects on the pick?
That was also the one I did that crazy video on because of how horrible it was when I tried to get into it.
Oh, yeah.
But their price has been going up, and they are built on Solana. And there's a few others that are also Star Atlas is on the Solana network as well.
Oh. Well, I'm actually where I find a lot of my info is on CoinGecko, and then I go to the coin, and then I usually have a look at what their website is, what the projects are, the developers. That's our Tim Perry tip of the day.
With Solana though, I'm noticing that Solana's kind of being pushed in people's faces, and they're not doing research and they're buying on the hype.
Mm-hmm. So and that's what my worry is too. So I own 11 Solana at 90 or not 90, sorry, at $82, which seems kind of hype-ish. But I just don't understand, like, this whole NFT thing. I still can't wrap my mind around. But why are people? You know what? I'm getting caught up in the people involved with Solana. I'm almost falling into like a Dogecoin trap, maybe getting caught up in the community here.
And NFTs is a dying breed now because everybody and their brother's doing it.
I think NFTs as a JPEG might be dying, but NFTs
every project that comes out, they make, what's your utility? Oh, we're gonna have NFTs and we're gonna have a swap. Look up every single token out there. Their basis is NFTs and swaps. NFTs are only good if you can actually use them. Now, there's a token that I hold called Shiro Inu, and it's all about NFTs. And it was like kind of like Pokemon, where you got different cards that were different characters and you fight against other characters and whatnot. So they went ahead and everybody minted all these packs, and now people don't want to buy them, even though they fundamentally have a purpose, right?
So I'm going to ask you this question then. In 3 years from now, do you think Solana will still be around? Oh, yeah. So this is my thing though. I do believe ETH will hit 10K. And I do believe that Solana is going to provide me a better return on investment as opposed to ETH, even though I don't believe in Solana whatsoever because of NFTs. Am I wrong playing the unit biased aspect of Solana, knowing that it will track ETH? Like this, are you guys, you know what I mean?
I think the deflation of NFTs, though, that's going to hit both of them. So I wouldn't be concerned about that. The fact that there's a lot of developments and a lot of metaverse games now being built on Solana is pretty much guaranteeing that Solana is going to have a little bit of a future.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to sit on it. I mean, I was thinking like it was throwaway cash. I got 11. I mean, odd numbers kill me, so I might get 50, or not odd numbers, but not numbers that are not rounded to the nearest 5, say. So I might either sell 1 or get 4 more. I don't know. I don't like having 11 Solana. It's actually 11.2. I feel like a friggin' idiot.
But remember all the people that sold all their Dogecoin 5 years ago, right? You never know. You never know.
No, I'm going to hold my soul. I don't like the 11.22. Yeah.
Oh my
I would
goodness.
love 11.22. I love it when numbers repeat.
It would be nice just to have
Oh.
some.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm thinking. I kind of just want to keep it, but
Soraya is saying still picking up a ton of Solana. So there you go. So, you know, one of those things that you invest in and you hold for a long time. Do you want to see something that Tim and I've been forcing his hand to look at? Look at this thing. See, it's got a box. It's like
R2D2?
and Chewbacca. So he has got in this box hundreds of hockey cards.
oh,
Hockey cards in little plastic things. Other things, I made him go through it and I said, well, you maybe want to catalog these things. Like, how do we know what's in here? He's got some in little plastic cases that we were trying to search ourselves. So you know what I got thinking was, how many people have boatloads of these? What are we doing with all this stuff? Eventually, will these not become NFTs?
that's my only thing is that
Yeah.
I don't know if the physical version of something will ever lose its appeal. Like when we're talking about collectibles.
I know, but what if I could do this? And this was my idea. What if I could take, I don't know who this is, Bill Flett from the Flames.
What's the year on it? Oh, geez, that is an old card.
1976. Okay. Bill Flett. I think it's an OPG card. Tim's got hundreds of them. Hundreds.
Have you seen the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin where he gets a girlfriend and then they realize that he has like $2 million in toys, but he never clued in? Sounds like that box might be filled with gems because that card looked like it was in mint condition from the 70s.
Okay, here's Mario Lemieux, the Art Ross Trophy, and this is from, oh good God, it's so small I can't read it. 1989.
Okay. I mean, that's probably worth at the bare minimum, maybe $25 or more.
I thought you were going to say 25 cents. But okay,
No,
Candace, here's my idea. What if I could take this card, say it's a valuable one. Maybe there's a whole bunch in here that are not valuable, but maybe I don't know if Mario Lemieux is a valuable one or not.
If you had Mario Lemieux's rookie card, you'd have a lot of money on your hands.
Well, there's thousands of cards. There's a big bin over here.
You'd have to go through it. Like, it's the rookie cards are the ones, like, for example, take Wayne Gretzky. If you happen to have Wayne Gretzky's rookie card, you'd probably be looking at 6 figures for it if it's in mint condition.
You want to hear some effed up information? My mother, I remember staring at it thinking I wanted this when I was older. My mother had a year 1 Gretzky card. Year 1. Guy looked like he was fresh out of high school. Lost it. Completely lost it moving.
Daryl Sittler.
Yeah, that's a Leaf card, though. It's worth nothing.
Those cards are in mint condition,
No, I'm kidding. I was kidding. It was a joke. It was a slap at the Maple
From
Leafs.
1976.
Yeah, that's probably worth something.
Okay, so here's my thing.
You can get
what if, Candace, what if I could take this and I could make an NFT to go with it? So not only do they have the NFT,
licensing.
they have...
You can't because of licensing.
Yeah, you'd have to get a hold of OPG or whatever, the card person, and then you got to actually talk to the person that's on their photograph. Yeah.
Yeah.
Licensing is going to cost
you
money.
OPG printed in Canada in 1976.
Here's what you want to do. Find out what they're worth. Let's say that card was worth $500. Let's just say, I'm just picking that out of my butt.
Okay.
Then what you would do is use something like eBay, post it up there. See how high you can get the bid going.
Wouldn't it be good though with any of these cards if they were, but in theory, make it as an NFT if you could, because then they get the physical card, and then anytime they want to send, because the NFT in my way of thinking is an authentication. Because right now I can't.
If the card's authentic, we have people who can tell that within 2 seconds. But if you lose the card and you still have the NFT is useless to you.
You don't have the right.
Useless.
See, that's the thing, is that you don't have the right to authenticate it because you're not the company.
Well, no, you can authenticate it through that coin vault token that I bought on the pre-sale and sold. You can authenticate it through them as a receipt that you're the owner of it, but you cannot create an NFT of it.
Yeah.
Seems like we're trying to reinvent the wheel here on collectible cards.
Tim even has weird little cards of swimmers. This was done.
Maybe those will be worth something. You never know.
These were from the Olympics. And
you know what you need to do? No, this would be an epic show.
1975. These were from the Olympics.
They're probably worth a ton.
Really?
Contact the most obscure athlete in the box and get them on this show and say, I have a mint condition one of your cards. You're like, oh my God, someone remembers.
This guy, I don't even know what this guy, the name is on the top. I thought this was in French. This guy's name is Line Chenard. And then this guy is Graham Smith.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
You should get them appraised. I mean, there are places that you can get them appraised. They might have to sit with them for a few days because there's a lot of cards it looks like to go through. But, maybe this could be the way to solve your housing issue.
Well, that's exactly.
Beckett used to sell a card pricing magazine. I don't know if they still do or not. But when I was younger,
you probably find one online. There has to be a version of it online where you can enter in, because I know you can do it with coins.
Right.
Where you can enter in exactly what you have, the quality, and it will tell you, an approximate value for it.
Look at these ones here. This one's the Atlanta Flames. Look they've got the little 4 guys on one card.
You never know.
So Mr. Tim would like to weigh in from the card, just saying. Hi, you.
Get out of my cards.
I'm removing you from the stream because we can't see you. All we can do is hear you. You told me to talk about what I wanted to tonight, so I thought the hockey cards were a good idea.
Yeah, so without Tim knowing, just take them and get them all appraised, because it sounds like he'll try to stop you.
Well, these ones here look like pictures. This one's from 1977. Wayne Cashman.
Funny? When Tim gets home, he's going to be like, in all honesty, Nancy, don't touch my fucking cards. He's like, don't auction them, don't appraise them. No one touch my cards.
Well,
he will kick in the door and give you laser eyes.
No, the poor guy, I'm sure felt like I said, just go and deal with those cards. You've had them in the box for years. Go deal with the cards.
So that Wayne Cashman one you just showed me right now is on eBay for $23.98.
$23.98.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big person, but because you said exactly what it was, I was able to find that card quickly, and it's like, okay, that's what that one's going for. So that's one card. That's just one random card in there is worth 20. So imagine if every single card in there is worth $20 to who knows how much.
Honey,
that's a lot of money.
We could buy our house. We'll have our down payment in our house.
What Tim will not have
our house would be made of cards.
That's right.
House of cards, honey.
House of cards.
Oh boy. Yeah, no.
Oh my God, I saw Tim's face for a second.
I know, when the street light goes by.
There you go, Tim.
Jason Spooner says, thanks for your Bobby Orr rookie card, Tim. Nancy gave it to me. There you go. Enjoy, I have it.
Enjoy.
Jason, I am sure it's in here. I am sure it's in here. Give me about 27,000 hours, and I will have all of these cataloged, and I will let you know. Well, why don't we do this? This would be a great moment and segue into the next thing that's going to suck up a lot of our time in the future, and that is the metaverse, brought to you by Candace from Candace Mountain or Mountain Finance. Can I put it up, Candace?
Yeah, sure.
There we go.
Why not?
Tim,
You put my hockey cards up.
No. I'll put you on. I'll hang up. I'll remove you for now, Tim.
Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome to this week's Top 10 Metaverse. We're going to start, of course, with the cryptocurrencies. This week, we have a lot of big movement when it comes to the ROIs. So without any further ado, let's jump in here. So number 10, Soman Space. They were up 15.8%. They were last week's number 1. So there's been a lot of movement. There's a lot of different coins this week. So we'll move from number 1 and we'll move up to number 3. Our good old friend Mana.
Just 1 second, Candace. I've done something. There
we
we're good. I was sorry.
Our good old friend Mana, who went up 10.3%, fell from 9 to 3. Like I said, I think everybody's in the positive this week, so it's going to be pretty cool as we go along. Number 8, we have Engine. They fell from 6 last week, and they were up 16.6%, if you can believe it. So we got some interesting moving in here. Let's move on to 7. 7 is one we haven't seen before. This here is Eternity Chain. They were up 37.5%. They're a lot like Vivi. They bring the big name brands in sports and content collectibles, as well as technology, to the blockchain.
You know who loved that, Candace? Was Neil. A year ago, he was talking about Eternity because it's on my watch list. So
that makes sense. So their NFTs, of course, are exclusive and they're licensed, unlike what you could do with those cards. And they're very easy to purchase via the marketplace. One thing that's also interesting is these NFTs are not tied to Eternity Chain. Once you purchase one, you can actually sell them or even gift them over on OpenSea.
Wow.
And you can also bridge earns directly to ETH by use of the Polygon chain. So that's kind of cool. So that's number 7. Let's move to number 6. Number 6, of course, is the Sandbox. They fell a tiny bit. They were up 18.2%, though. Move on to 5. We got VFox. So VFox Fault, and we've talked about them a bit. They've been on our chart on and off for a while. They're a retail VR-based metaverse with retail experience combined with gaming and social media, as well as digital events. So they're very big on trying to merge social media with the metaverse. I think they're an interesting company for sure. We'll move on to 4. 4 is Axie Infinity. They're just holding steady with up at 23.3%. Number 3 is our DeFi Kingdoms. So Jewel, they were up 41.3%. So there's some really big movements this week.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 2, we've seen them before, is the Boson Protocol. They were up 71% in a week. So that's huge. And these guys are, like I said, they're all about connecting real world commerce to the metaverse and basically creating a platform so anybody can trade real physical products using basically by tokenizing the commitment for that exchange on the blockchain as an NFT. So it's using an NFT as a completely different sort of thing, which is really cool because NFTs have a lot of different things. But now let's talk about number 1. Number 1 is very, very, very different. It is Areva, and I have given them for the first time ever a holy banana bread. Up there in the corner, you can see the little holy banana bread.
Yes, I love it.
Were 81.3%. That's not why they got the holy banana bread. Look at what these guys do. So they are a tourism cryptocurrency, and they're looking to use it as an active use in local and global tourism in the real world, as well as in their own metaverse. So they want to be, you will be able to use, by using Areva, you can use it to make money from your reservations and sharing your travel experiences through the Areaverse. They're also looking to apply it as a new generation of payment gateways and all based on blockchain. And this is going to be really an interesting platform for global travel and tourism and integrating cryptocurrencies into that whole industry. So I've never heard of anybody doing this on the blockchain before. So that's why they got my holy banana bread, because quite honestly, I was looking at this and I'm like, I want to look into these guys a little bit more myself, because they've got me very interested. And they came out of nowhere and jumped all the way to number one with their 81.3%.
I love it. I'm
And
writing
I
it
see
down
you
as
writing
well.
it. I see that too.
I even got my purple book out. That's how sacred it is, because I'm running out of
Ooh.
pages in the purple book.
Perfect. Now with the stocks, almost everybody in the top 7 is gone from last week.
Really?
Yeah, I think there was one. I think one managed to hold on, but there was a lot of movement. Coming back in is Apple. They managed to slick into our number 7 spot, up 6.63%. Number 6 is Fastly. Fastly, I don't think we've ever seen them before. They were up 11.15%, and they're all about content delivery. And basically, what they do is they take information stored in the cloud and they will deliver it to the metaverse. And their goal is, of course, to reduce latency, because there's going to be a lot of information flowing back and forth. Now, they have doubled their customer base in Q4 of 2021, and they are expecting to continue growing in 2022. However, investment-wise, they do have a negative EPS. It has been getting smaller, as in they're moving towards the positive, but they're not there yet. So they're more of a long-term investment, but I think they're positioned in a really good place to make a big splash in the metaverse as we move forward.
Candice, can you clarify what EPS stands for? Earnings per share? Is that what it is?
That is exactly what it is. So normally you can't maintain a negative EPS forever, because for every share, you're actually losing a little bit of money.
Yeah.
They're just starting to lose a little bit less money per share each year. And they've been doing better than what they've been projected to be doing. So
is there any reason, did they give any reason why their earnings per share was in a loss position?
They had a few issues towards the beginning of 2022. And some of their systems were completely down in Q2. But what's beautiful about that is, even with the big issue they had in Q2 with their systems being down, they got that fixed. They've said that whatever the problem was is not going to happen again. And all of their customers came back, no problem. And plus they grew. I mean, they've doubled in size. So that's pretty impressive. So yeah, these are somebody to watch. I don't know if I would personally invest in them right now, but I would be willing to throw them on a watch list and keep my eye on them. So that's number 6. Number 5, Unity Software. We've seen these guys before. They are back on the list again. They were up 11.97%. Coming in at 4. These are the only company that was there last week. Slipping from 1 to 4, they were up 6.73%. So Amazon, as always, they're always going to be a strong player. Number 3, up 12.65% is Matterport. We have seen Matterport before, so they're doing well. And they're more or less, if you remember, we talked about the cameras in the past and the 3D spatial data technology. So that's what they're all about. So they're going to be huge in the metaverse. Number 2 is Roblox. Roblox, we've seen them once before actually, I think we've seen them in the first week I did the top 7. Actually, then it was a top 5. They were up 22.16%. These guys are huge. They already have a metaverse. Not only do they already have a metaverse, they have 24 million active experiences for the players within it. And they have approximately 50 million daily users. That's bigger than like World of Warcraft, just to put that into context. The other big thing about Roblox is kids love it, and they are very kid-friendly. They have over 4,000 human moderators, and they also have an AI that will scan for age-inappropriate behavior. And apparently it's quite good.
Because I've heard that they are, like, that is the biggest pedophile site going.
Well, that's what I think they're trying to stop that, if that's the case going on. I didn't really dig into pedophiles, but
Anything that attracts kids is going to attract disgusting sickos.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Simple as
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
But Roblox is probably one of, completely agree with his positioning here. Roblox on even a long term. Like I talked to every one of my nieces, and it's funny, the older one doesn't even understand why she's so addicted to it. Like, oh, I'm just gonna go talk to my friends on Roblox.
Mhm.
And at the same time, she's coding her own stuff. It can be used educationally. It's fun. I mean, Roblox to me, if there's a metaverse for kids, it's Roblox. Like,
Well,
all
and
day.
I didn't add this to the page, but Roblox actually said that they believe 50% of American kids play their game. I don't know if that's true because there's no way to back that up, but that was just a statement that the company had made. But one other interesting thing is their in-game store has brought in $500 million in revenue in the last few quarters. So that's huge. So they're making money, they're making bank. The game is free to play too. So if you do have kids and you want to try the mode on it, it doesn't cost you anything to give it a whirl.
Can you do it without the goggles?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. There's no I mean, it's a video
I don't
game.
even think they really have. Yeah, I don't think they have goggles involved in it yet.
Like truly, honest to God, Roblox is like that one meta stock that has, I think you guys know me now as more skeptical than not. Even as a freaking skeptic, Roblox is like, for me, the company is so big. You know what it is? It's almost like Facebook when I was introduced to Facebook.
Funny you say that. That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm finally going to get into this, and then all the kids leave.
Well, no, I don't think the kids are going to leave. I think it's an age-appropriate Facebook that will always have revolving customer base. Like with Facebook, they don't know when you're supposed to leave or when you're supposed to come. It's for everyone. Roblox is definitely not for someone your age. So there's going to be cycling in and out and a constant cycle of customers all the time. People are going to be constantly teaching. It's going to be integrated into schools, mark my words, because my friggin' niece is teaching me how she's coding her own character's design. And I'm like, okay, I'm lost. And this is a friggin' game for 9-year-olds. So I'm already out to lunch. Like, I'm already a boomer. I'm Roblox. Like, I don't own it, but I like it.
Absolutely. And that leaves us with our number one for the week. And that is Cloudflare, up 23.57%. And once again, these guys are all about the infrastructure for the metaverse. We're talking about edge computing, servers close to the actual location, and kind of like they're doing very similar things to our number 5 person as well. So what I like about these guys is the infrastructure is going to be very, very important. But here's the really interesting thing. You'll notice this week, all of the chips, they all fell. They didn't have a good week. And I think a lot of that is a lot of these things like palladium, nickel, all of these shortages that are happening. I think that's starting to hurt the chip makers a little bit. So I thought that was very, very interesting when it came to the metaverse this week. But yeah, so that's this week at the metaverse.
Cool.
I love it. And, I just pulled up the Roblox website and stuff. And it's just talking about powering imagination. And I really, sometimes when we talk about these things, I just want to see it. I want to understand it.
I'll tell you this, Nancy, honestly, put yourself in the mind of yourself as a kid, because I would never play Roblox because it's just really not designed for adults. But at the same time, imagine the ability. I mean, I know on my basic Mario Kart games, for instance, Mario Kart N64, that was it for kids in the 90s. It was as simple as that. N64, Mario Kart, you're rocking and rolling. Now, kids are designing their own characters, their own friggin' vehicles. They're engaging with people across the entire world. I didn't get Xbox Live or the live gaming aspect well into my teenage years. And I know it was available, but it wasn't huge.
Yeah,
and
plus
it's
they're creating their own games.
Yes. Kids are learning. I mean, my niece can literally build an environment within this game. And I mean, it's like Minecraft. And look at the longevity of Minecraft, except it's simpler and more open to children. So it's like the perfect version
But okay,
of Minecraft.
again, I know I hear what you're saying about they can build their own game. What does that mean? I don't understand.
They can code, like there is access on the game to say, I don't like the way that this looks. I don't like the way that my person is doing this, my house. And they can go code it and change the colors. It like teaches them how to code their own environment. So they're able to change it, kind of again like Minecraft, building and build like your own stuff. This is like Minecraft on crack. In my opinion, it opens it up to a whole new level. But yeah, they're truly building and designing whatever world they want, interacting with people everywhere, all over the planet. She's got friends on there that she's never met. And it's like, that reminds me of me playing Call of Duty or whatever when I was 12 or 13, and I just got into online gaming, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. You know what I mean? I loved it. I mean, online gaming's awesome if you're going to game, but that Roblox is crazy.
Well,
I wouldn't even worry about the negativity with sickos, because that's just, if anything, the amount of news that has surrounding that just shows you how big a platform that is.
Mm-hmm.
Let me throw this out. With the metaverse becoming and starting to go mainstream eventually, there's going to be a huge need for programmers. And you've got all of these young people playing this game that's teaching them how to program and sort of kindling that spark in them to want to be programmers. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I agree, Candace. That's why I honestly, Ryan, I want to see it, not because I want to play it, but I want to understand it, so that if there's parts of me that, you know, I'm a big picture thinker. And when you think in a big way and you think strategy, sometimes I need to see things on how they're working now so I can connect the dots for future. It's how my brain, your brain is very inquisitive.
You're a visual learner.
Yes, and I need to see a bunch of things, and then I can start to connect dots. It's like how, Ryan, you can get bits of information and make them make sense very quickly and can tell a story very easily. That's your superpower. It's your secret sauce. My secret sauce is I like to see all these things. I'm very inquisitive about them because they do tell a futuristic story if you pay close attention to what you're seeing.
Nancy, I will tell you this, because I was so skeptical of Roblox, so skeptical, even on my market closes. What sold me, dude, was when I was watching my niece unsatisfied with the way that her house looked. So she coded to make her house look different. And then her friends came in and started talking to her. And she's like, okay, Ryan, let's go away. And she's like 9 years old. She's in her own world. And I'm like, okay, this is, I mean, no, I dealt with video games when I was a kid. Yeah, no, Nancy, you got to see it in action.
Apparently your mom's got the picture that I have on my wall.
Remember
Which
I told
one?
you?
The bird?
No, the other one. That one. The one with the straw in the mouth.
Oh, yeah, that one.
In that little niche.
Yeah. This is my little garden shed. This is my garden shed office. And I have everything in here is all stuff I see in the garden. So see, there's a deer. We have deer out in our garden, robins. I have all kinds of birds. I got a frog on the wall and butterflies. So what do you put inside a garden shed? Put stuff you see on the outside of the garden shed. I know I'm a goofball.
My garden shed is full of hose.
This used to be too. I wonder if Tim's still there. Just let me see. Are you still there?
I'm still here.
What's up, Tim?
I feel like I've been in a timeout.
Well, you've been muted, bud.
I forgot about you. I'm sorry, honey.
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. It was just, I could hear your background. So I thought, well, Candace was doing her metaverse. I thought, I'll remove you for a second so that we couldn't hear the car driving in the back. I'm sorry. I completely forgot about you.
Poor Tim.
Poor Tim, indeed. Poor Tim, indeed. So do you guys want to talk a little bit about world affairs? Because it's very interesting what's going on out there.
Oh, something happening in the world?
Apparently.
The light bulb's getting dim.
You know,
what are some recent developments that... Oh, sorry.
I'm thinking about what Candace said in regards to why all the chips are down on the stocks, right? With the, the palladium and the platinum and all this and that. And then I think about one of the major manufacturers is Taiwanese semiconductors, and you put in the supply chain, you put in the shortness of metals, you put in the fact that Taiwan could be the next target of China, and it's like there's a problem right there for the rest of the world for automotive. How far does that rabbit hole go down?
Okay, Tim, 100% on point. So are the prices that these semiconductor chip stocks at right now justified? That's question number one. If you expand on their, say, 18-month to 3-year chart, we just went through a ridiculous pump. So are we due for a more than healthy correction here in chips? That's like the question I'm trying to ask myself. Now, with Taiwan Semiconductor, China, let's just say China invades Taiwan. They're not effing with Taiwan Semiconductor because if anything, they'll nationalize it. They'll take it over. It'll be within Chinese hands in 2 seconds. Not to mention they can't really screw up Taiwan Semiconductor in the sense that it manufactures so much of the product for American companies that it would pose such a political risk to China as well against the United States. But what do you think, Tim? Because it has me freaked out too. Like, I'm thinking that the chips are due for a bit of a pullback. They've been, everything except Intel has exploded. Like literally everything but Intel. What do you think, broski?
I don't know. It's tough to say because I think there's so many things that are unbalanced right now in our supply chain, in our the simple model of supply and demand. I think there's so many things that are unbalanced. Look at the real estate market is unbalanced. You can sort of cut and paste that skeleton onto anything, stocks and bonds and all this. There's no right answer. So with the semiconductors playing such a major role in our activities in life these days, it's a tough call.
Well, we also have to think about what consumer spending does in times like this. Consumer spending tends to go down, obviously, because of the price pressures, right? So that's what we do. So consumer spending tends to go down. Now, I'm not worried about the Apples of the world and stuff like that, but like for auto manufacturing, it's not going to be 100%. And even if all the supply chains are worked out, whatever, but we still have a lack of consumer spending, there's going to be impacts across the board. Q1 is not supposed to be so.
So what's going to happen in the auto industry is that with all these conductors that are not coming in and the chips not coming in, what you're going to see is an increase in the used car market.
Yeah, but you couldn't even the used car market. I don't even know. There's still all kinds of problems there too. Like you had troubles. You couldn't even get an engine when you needed it.
That's not a used car. That's a part. Sorry, I got coming through a brainstorm.
I know, but used cars and keeping used cars going needs parts. Where are we going to get all these parts from?
I'm on the road a lot. I can drive through any town, any little town, rural town, and see a used car dealership where people will go and pay a couple of $1,000s that might get them a car that'll last them a couple of years. So I don't believe and I don't subscribe to the thought that there's a problem with used cars. Used parts, yes. Used cars, no.
Well, I can definitely verify that parts is a problem, and I figured that out from work. So
it's not really a problem for new car sales. So little of the revenue that was generated, for instance, by Stellantis was their used cars, and I only say that because of how they report. It's not like their used car is going to profit the dealer and not Stellantis, for instance. So you're not going to have Stellantis really feel the effects of this used car fluctuation or whatever, or any manufacturer. Not to mention they've got the consumer used to accepting a car on delivery that isn't 100% ready. So the fact that the consumer has had no problem accepting a car with no GPS chip, no Bluetooth yet, the fact that the consumer has already said, okay, that means they're good. They're good. You're going to have F-150s, bro, that just get GPS when someone's trading it in. That's going to happen.
Yep.
Like, but the consumers already said we're good. So I don't know about new cars, but
But
all
if the consumer just, have we been taught like fleas that we can't jump out of the jar now? Like have like, you know how you train fleas.
it's almost getting that way, Nancy. And I say that like with every bit of experience I've ever had. And I don't think it's because of my growing experience. I think because you can only grow so much and be whatever. I genuinely think people are easier to sell now, if that makes any sense. Like it's just lay it down, take it, or effing leave it. And when
Well, is that because of the supply chain?
I think it is. But it's been happening for quite a while, though, both in construction, automotive. That's my experience. I don't know about anything else. But it's take it or leave it. If you don't take it, the next guy is, I don't need you. And it's gotten to the point where customers or consumers are now there. Why do you think we've accepted this inflation spike so easily this time? This massive inflation without any real hubbub about it. Like we're willing to get on our knees and do absolutely whatever they say.
Because there is no choice. Like I was was with a friend today.
The choice though, Nancy, for automotive would be don't buy that new $100,000 truck, or for a new home, or a new home, wait 2-3 years.
Right.
It's consumer spending. It's capitalism at its finest, and this is an example though of capitalism shooting itself in the foot, because this isn't the time to be that utmost insane capitalist spending your brains out. And
right. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's. Stupid.
No, I agree with you. So
I totally agree. I totally agree with Ryan, because you know what? We had a shortage in lumber. Lumber went 3 times, 4 times the amount. People were so hungry to get lumber that they paid whatever they could to get a piece of lumber. So,
well, okay. So this is what my girlfriend was telling me today. She was saying that she has a friend of hers who does taxes. And the friend of hers gives her a discount to do her taxes. So maybe last year she did her taxes for $100. So this year, she sent all the stuff to her friend to get it done. Now there's a couple of things in this story that are an issue, but she sent it all to her girlfriend to get done. Her girlfriend did it and then sent her a bill for twice what it was the previous year. So I said to her, she was upset. Right? She tried to ask her friend what was with the increase. And I go, well, that's the problem, is that you should have asked up front, because after the person has already done the work, you can't really go back. We need to go forward and we need to think about these things. If we're going to be smart consumers, we need to ask up front, not at the end. But here's the thing. I didn't bat an eye at the fact that she doubled her price, and she was freaking out. And I went, I don't know why you're freaking out. Everybody has been increasing their prices by a crazy amount to try to stay ahead of this thing. And she goes, well, it just seems like it's way too much. And I went, no, because to get a raise, you've got to go above where the inflation is. Like, people don't understand that. You got to go, not just take a little bit of an increase, but you got to take an increase plus in order to get a raise.
The only thing that person doing the taxes is doing, is keeping in line with the cost of inflation. So there's nothing wrong with doing the cost of inflation, because she's her own boss. That's all she's doing. She's not gouging anyone. She's just trying to keep up with the cost of inflation that affects her bottom line.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well, consumers, don't have a choice.
And so I said, exactly what I said to her. I said, the reason she can charge more is because there's so few people out there that are working anymore. Like, literally, so the people that do work can ask whatever they want, because you need it. And they've got too much work to do.
Easiest explanation. Fair market value is the combination of what I'm willing to sell it for versus what you're willing to pay it for, meeting at the same time. So if you're willing to pay 100 times what I could have sold it to you last month, fuck it. That's what you're paying, and I win, and you get what you want, and that's the nature of the game. It's a unique scenario we're getting into, though, because it's almost so aggressive. I feel like it almost feels like, no, Tim, maybe I'm going to try and formulate my thought.
Do you know why that, Nancy? Do you know why that particular example stung so much? Whoever the friend is because she used a friend. and that is the person she wasn't expecting it from.
Well, that's what I said too. I go,
I'm
especially
telling
when
you, that's what it is.
I know. I said, especially when you deal with business with friends, you need to be crystal clear up front of their expectations, because otherwise you start mixing things with friends, and it becomes really touch and go.
You know
If
what
it
I
was
learned?
not a friend, it wouldn't have been, it would have been like, oh yeah, just another thing that went up, right?
You can't do business with your friends. Okay, if you're an entrepreneur, you can only ever do business with other entrepreneurial friends, because that question would never come up. Like, it would never come up in a million years. I am convinced you can sell to friends and family and do that. They have to be in business for themselves so that there is no questions, because that comes up. My family has dealt with that forever. Like, just because the family or friends or whoever made a phone call, now we work for free for 2 weeks. It's business.
Right.
Like, sorry guys. Dang.
Yeah, if
Well,
you're
and-
providing professional skills, charge professional prices.
Yeah. Is that me? Am I frozen?
You're better.
This
Maybe.
is
I might be
it's a
frozen.
great time for Candace.
No, you're moving
Great
now.
time for Candace to interject. This is why we use Wealth Simple Tax.
Yeah, well, I like Wealth Simple Tax. I'm doing Jill's taxes tomorrow, and I'm going to use Wealth Simple Tax.
There you go. Well, you know what? You know what's funny is that there's a number of lessons through that whole example. But the truth is, whether it's a friend or not a friend, if it's a professional service, if it's a product, you know what a product cost up front because they post the price. And so as a consumer, you don't think twice about going through the grocery store. You can see the prices are all posted. So when it's a service, we have to be more deliberate about asking up front. And then you don't have any sticker shock, because once somebody has delivered services to you, you're obligated to pay them. It becomes much more difficult to go backwards on that.
Prepare the dog. I'm home.
Oh, Tim's home.
I-
He made it.
Well, he's at the house. I'm in the garden shed. Remember, I came out here without the dog. So anyways, did I freeze up there? Did you hear my comments about that?
Yeah.
I heard you.
Okay. So it's just on my end that all my little screens went blank. Yeah, no, it's going to be a very interesting thing. So I watched an Anthony Pompliano video. You know, I love him. And he had an interview that he did with Peter Zeihan. So it's spelled Zeihan. He's a geopolitical strategist and he's an author. And so I'm trying to think what day it was. I think it was
Monday.
I think it was Monday's video. It was fascinating. I have passed this video. Start watching it at minute 28. And then it goes for quite a bit. It explains what's going on with Russia and Ukraine to the point where I have a much better understanding now of why it happened, what the end result could potentially be, and what this does. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I can put the link to this video in the chat, and then everybody can see it.
Okay, there's also one more video I think everybody needs to see. I don't have the link on me, but it's floating around the internet because it got 7 million views in like 5 seconds. We all know who Ray Dalio is, and he just made a 45-minute video very briefly. Well, it's not brief, it's 45 minutes. And I'm telling you, it's the most eye-opening 45 minutes I've ever received off of a YouTube video in my entire time since starting this channel. That 45-minute video on changing world order and the cycles of life and yada, 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 it'll blow the top off of your skull. Like, if you guys just search Ray Dalio, it'll probably come up. But it's that new video. If you got 45 minutes to check it out, like, get ready to just die inside a little bit because of how much it blows your mind. Jason saw it. I mean, it was. What was the highlight of it? it looked like a cover of a book, the thumbnail, but there was no the whole highlight was the whole video.
Was it
Like,
called
it was 40 if you don't-
Changing World Order 43 Minutes 3
Yeah.
weeks ago?
and it's a blue thumbnail. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And a
Let me
blue
put.
thumbnail or whatever. It is worth the watch.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat here. It made Jason feel better about his stocks or bad
think-
about his stocks.
Better about his Chinese stock Alibaba, and I think it just opened your eyes to. I mean, I don't want to ruin the video. I want almost you guys to make your own mind up on it. But if you have 45 minutes, it's worth it. It is beyond worth it to watch that video.
Yeah, I think some of this stuff is really like I sent the one that I was talking about by that Peter Zahan. I sent it to a few of my clients that I've been having meetings with this week, just so that they have a bigger picture of what's coming in the world. I think we all need to start thinking bigger about what's happening to us. And I honestly think that in the next 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, it's going to get very bloody over there.
You mean because of the war? Like
Yeah.
what you're referencing? So why
Yeah.
do you say the next 2 to 3 weeks? Is it because
I think
of their...
I think it's taken this length of time for the NATO allies to get equipment over there, and now that they have, I think the West. After you watch the video, I think the West has every single motivation now to stop Russia from where they're at, and
then
even
that's
if
war. Then that's
completely,
real war.
completely, it completely.
Mhm.
And I think the other thing is that at this point in time, that why I said it's holding the Chinese at bay is because they're seeing in real time what can happen when when a country gets financially shut down. Like, for instance, all those barrels of oil that they have to get, that Russia would like to get out of their country, they will be stopped through the Baltic Sea, through the Black Sea. They won't be able to get anywhere out in any way, shape, or form, because the NATO, there'll be the NATO forces will be waiting. They won't be able to move anything.
Do you want to hear something interesting I learned about oil the other day off of a video that just blew my top off? It was an energy release. So did you know that in those so you know how governments have storage and active use energy, right? So storage is storage, active use is active use. If Russian oil is destined for X country's storage, it's not sanctioned. And they reported that Russian oil only saw a 7% decrease on export since sanctions came in. Russian oil's moving.
But they'll block it, is what I'm saying.
Not if it's going to storage. So it just depends on how you're going to paper this. That's all that matters, because they've barely seen anything. They've barely seen a reduction because countries are still buying Russian oil and claiming it's for storage. The United States is still buying Russian oil for storage to this day. Still happening. So it's like, I don't know. This has only made me feel less secure as a first world nation in North America than anything else.
For sure.
That's all it's made me feel. Yeah, like
Do you want an interesting thought?
Yeah.
If Putin gets frustrated, and he's already very, very frustrated, and he decides just to drop a single nuke in Ukraine, if any of that fallout makes it to Poland, that would be an act of war against NATO.
Yeah.
I don't think that would ever happen, though. Luckily, I thankfully
I hope it wouldn't I hope it doesn't happen, but I'm just.
Well, you want to know why that won't happen? Is because the prevailing winds are going in the opposite direction. So if they dropped a nuke in Ukraine, it would pollute Moscow immediately. Well, yeah, it would be Moscow. Yeah. It wouldn't be Poland.
I actually don't think that would be where they would target a nuclear weapon.
I don't know where they would. I can't even imagine. I can't even wrap my head around a nuke going off, because then I'm going to have to totally abandon everything that I had planned for the next 5 years and go into save myself mode, because the world economies are going to collapse and we're all going to be eating ramen noodle out of a friggin' Tupperware container like Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. It's going to, I mean, I don't even
know. No, they're saying like there's a lot of scary stuff. And that guy, I'm telling you, was very eye-opening.
Yeah, I mean, what realistically, what I think is going to happen, I think somebody within Russia is going to take out Putin. He's
I don't
pissing
see
off
that
the
happening
oligarchs.
at all.
He's pissing them off so much. Like
I
their
think
wealth is no longer protected. He used to protect their wealth. They're motivated now to see something happen. I think you'll see something happen. They're not going to take it forever.
Putin didn't take away the wealth of these oligarchs. I'm not going to be a Putin apologist here, but he didn't do anything. These oligarchs now have 10 times more reason to hate the West. Like India right now has a new agreement for monetary policy to trade rupees and rubles. So forget the sanctions. These sanctions mean nothing. Like at the end of the day, I think that when the next election happens in 2024, okay, Putin is going to calm down before the next election, in my opinion. And then after that, it'll go back to I mean, look at 2014. Putin was a psychopath. Then in 2018, Ukraine was the most corrupt country in the world and this and that. I mean, go look up the news yourself. Now Ukraine's this and that. Let's just wait for the next political cycle because everything's going to be different. Russia's not going to be so bad. Ukraine's not going to be so good. And the rest of the world's going to balance itself out. I mean, that's my gut feeling on it. Like when I started looking up, for instance, how the media portrayed Ukraine no more than 2 to 3 years ago as this scum of the earth, Nazi-ridden, corrupt. This is our own CBC and BBC. This is all over the place. Okay? And that was because of the whole scandal with the United States. And now, I mean, like I said, I'm just waiting for this cycle to end. I feel like I live in a land of a perpetual media cycle. And I'm just waiting for the next one. And just trade on it.
Hey, doesn't it make you want to go and be Truman from the Truman Show?
Yes. Oh my God. I don't even care if they're fake friends. Just give me a perfect life for 5 minutes.
I honestly, that's what I want. I want to live in a nice house, in a nice neighborhood. I want to ride my bicycle to work. I want to say hello to people on the street. I want to do my thing. And then I want to go home and sit in my nice, comfortable house and be happy.
Well, on the bright side, you're already used to the cameras.
It's true. Truman
Show was one of my favorite movies, and I don't know why. I just loved that movie.
You know what? It's a movie I could watch over and over too.
Me too.
And I'm not sure why I could watch that. I'm like you on that. I'm not exactly sure why that I found that so fascinating. And yet, don't you think that a lot of people have made themselves into a Truman Show? Think about the amount of people that film themselves all the time. This goes back to last week's conversation about the damn feet. I have told more people about that foot thing and they can't believe it. And of course, all of my friends, nobody had a clue what OnlyFans was. We're still not sure about what it does. And they couldn't believe it. Many of them said, you mean if I just take pictures of my feet, that I could make money? I'm like,
you're still thinking about the feed, eh? You're on it. Candace, hold on. Candace, have you confirmed that you are in, and I don't want to know the username. I'm not going to subscribe. I do support you. But have you confirmed that you are, in fact, pulling the OnlyFans side hustle?
Well, Jill's already talking about sending me to the pedicure person.
Oh, you're doing it. I want to know. I want to know how successful it is. Because I mean,
it's only because I can do
of it too.
It's like
it doesn't show your face. I mean, who cares?
No, that's what I mean. I mean, just my feet, because I can pick up things and I can pick up all kinds of different things. That would be
okay. Yes. But you know what got even more funny? Okay, so then when we started talking about this, my bestie and I, we were talking about because nobody would know if it's your feet because your head is not attached to it. They don't really know. For that matter, you could take pictures of your nipple. Nobody would know that it was you either.
No, that's crazy though. I mean, what are we selling here?
Nobody would know.
True.
Just the tip. That's all I got to say.
Exactly. You could have a whole channel on just the tip. Who would know?
Oh my gosh. Just the tip. This is where I'd love our pastor friend to come on and give his opinion on what his thoughts are on our just the tip side hustles.
All I'll say is my lack of melanin would not give enough contrast on my nipples. So that's
I mean, this convo is what
I'm just saying. Anyways, I don't even know how we got down here, but Verena, we will stop talking about feet, I promise. Anyways,
banana bread.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, Ken, what did you do for your birthday? Did anybody bake you a cake?
Yes, my youngest did.
Was it a chocolate cake?
Hold on, I got it right. It's right here. Hold on a minute.
Was there any icing, or did your other daughter eat it all?
Yeah, she kind of gypped me on the icing, I think.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
There you go.
And you
But
blew
look-
some
look how-
COVID germs all over your cake, did you? Blew
Look
some
how-
dangerous germs?
Yeah, but it's missing icing. The icing, there's some missing. I'm not happy about that.
That's a lot of candles.
That is a lot of
Is that-
candles.
is that off the
Was
smoke
this a
detector?
was this a big birthday for you?
No, 43.
Big
Two more
enough.
years. Two more years, and then it's a big one. And then 5 years later, it's another big one. So
Oh, there you go. Well, good. Yes, and Jason Spooner wonders how this crypto night in Canada became Oracle's Friday night.
Mhm.
No, Jason, it's only Oracle's Friday night when you're on there. I watched you guys talk. I don't get to stay up. I think Tim and I wake up when you guys are just shutting it down, and then we watch what you guys, and we laugh out loud. It is hysterical. You guys are hysterical.
yeah, we go out there sometimes. Yeah.
Well, and what I can't get over is that you guys can keep doing it for so long and never run out of things to talk about. And the funniest was Andrew. I am going to bed. I'm getting off. I'm going to bed. And then I stop listening and I fast forward to see if he does come. Oh, there he's back. So then I go backwards and find out what happened to make him want to come back on. And he says, I can't stand it. I have to weigh in on this. You guys.
Yeah.
It's the hangout.
Yeah.
It's the hangout for sure. So what's everybody got going on this week? Ken, 5 more 1,000 hours of the freaking Oracle show?
Yeah, pretty much, I guess. Yeah. I might do some gambling too, and show you guys. I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
Gambling
Let's think
online?
about it.
Online
I
gambling?
was thinking about it. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Live
In the
dealers.
metaverse?
No.
Oh.
888.com with live dealers. I was thinking about it.
Oh, like poker, like actual gambling.
Yeah, like blackjack, roulette,
Fun.
casino hold'em. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We got to see what the bank account says.
Oh, there you go. And I know, Candace, you've got a special guest on your show on your live stream on Saturday night. Can you tell us about her?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was looking for the small YouTuber, I want to promote a small YouTuber every week if I can. I found this girl. Her channel's fairly new. She started her journey on Wealth Simple, but she has a very unique side hustle. She buys clothes and resells them
Nice.
online, and she's making enough that it's supplying her with enough money that it's turning into her investment journey. So it sounds very, very, very cool. So yeah, she's going to be on this Saturday night, and we'll get to hear about her side hustle and the beginnings of her journey. I think it's going to be a great conversation. She seems to be very personable.
I love that. That was like what I was trying to do with the lamps, buying and selling lamps. I still have lampshades. If anybody needs lampshades, I've got lampshades. Tim and I can flip lamps. I'm telling you. Same
Nancy,
thing.
you know what? Because I've been side hustling my freaking a-hole off today in the last week. In April, I'm going back to some side hustle, low-key stuff like we used to do. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with talking about the friggin' lamps if that is what was satisfying your deposits in your investments. For me, I want to, because that's the fun stuff. Is what are
That
we
was
turning
the
over?
fun stuff.
Yeah, what are we turning over? How are we doing it? What are we hustling our asses off? I mean, I am. Oh, God. Okay. I don't know if I told you. I don't know if you guys watched it, but the guests that I got actually, I texted you guys. But I got 2 more that confirmed today. So I got 2 CEOs, 1 professor, and then 1 CBC contributor. So we're going to just line it up, smoke it out, and just blast off. Talk about side hustles.
I love it. I love it because I think that the side hustles is what started it for me in the first place. Was how do you make that extra spare change? And I did a couple of videos last week after our show just on the food conversation. We didn't really touch base on much of that tonight. because it's not getting any better, really. It's not really getting any better. I wish I could say, oh, I'm seeing relief in sight, but I'm not. And so, but it's those wonderful side hustles. Like I'm excited to hear the talk on Saturday night, Candace, because
it's gonna be really good.
Yeah,
so I'm looking forward to it. And of course, on Sunday, I'll be once again on Twitch in the metaverse.
You know what I was going to say one more thing, because Candace is doing something amazing, reaching out to smaller YouTubers, right? So in my opinion, in my very humble opinion, I would say 60 to 70% of the financial YouTubers who are online right now will be gone by Christmas, okay? They're just, in my opinion, they're gone. You're already starting to fall off. Candace, find the ones like this one that you got coming out on Saturday, who's going to be a rock star, that are going to be those diamonds in the rough, because they'll make it through. They almost started at the perfect time. They started at the worst time. You know what I mean? Like, and that's how you know they're going to make it through. So I'm kind of psyched out, because there are so many new YouTubers coming up with 500 subs, 1,000 subs, whatever. And they're pretty banging. Like, they got really,
500 subs,
Yeah.
1,000 subs. Like, those are just easy things to happen.
Well, me and Nate today, me and Nate Palmetier, we said that if we add our channels together, we almost add up to a Danter.
I know.
There you go.
I worked my butt off for a solid 130 subscribers. Okay.
I know, it's amazing.
That's awesome.
I don't actually think you guys realize how good you are, all of you. Like, and I don't know whether I enjoy it because I know you, but I watch, and sometimes I don't make comments. I should get better at that. Listen, I'm watching, and
the comments help the algorithm. That's why I make comments on your videos all the time.
I know, Candace. I will make a point. I will go back and make
throw in
comments.
a happy face. If you just throw a happy face in and that's it, as far as the YouTube algorithm is concerned, that's that interaction that it's looking for.
This is my rule. If you guys wonder why I don't comment on certain videos and this and that, and I'm not talking to the audience watching, wink, wink, maybe kind of M. If you don't watch the full video, don't watch it. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm telling you, if you're going to bail after a minute, don't click on my thumbnail, come back to it. And I mean that for everybody here. Trust me, like, the comments are great, but follow the video through. I know Candace has banging points going right to the end. Nate Palmetier's video made me be like, made me feel so inadequate. This guy's a pro. I mean, Jesus. Like, so we got to keep it rocking, though, as a crew, to watch it to the end.
Yeah. Tim, I know you're there, but we can hardly see you. You have no lights on.
I'm transitioning.
You're transitioning to what?
Hey, what do you think of my two shorts or my short today?
I liked your shorts. I put comments on all of them.
Oh.
Your short today was funny.
Yeah.
How come Nate gets 1,000 views?
It depends on if it gets onto the shorts shelf.
Oh, I will say this, though.
Onto the short shelf.
Yeah.
No, Nate has a unique ability. Like, Nate's editing is tailored to short. Like, I mean, that's automatically going to be so hyped for a short. It's not even funny. Like, I could release a short right now with 10 times the subs. I would never get the views Nate'll get on a short. Like, he's just, his editing is blowing my mind.
But you also have to keep in mind that sometimes too, you'll do a short and it'll blow up a week later. It's just the way shorts work. You almost will never get your immediate traffic on the beginning. But what you want to do too is like post your shorts in Crypto Night in Canada. And the reason for that is YouTube tends to keep your two different types of videos apart. So it doesn't let people who are subscribed to you and have the notifications on know that you're posting shorts, because it sort of keeps them in separate buckets. It's like today, I found out Ryan's making shorts. I had no clue. I had not seen a single notification. I had no idea he was making shorts.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not making shorts.
I saw some.
You have shorts. Then that's the algorithm at work, because I haven't made a short in a minute. Check the dates, Candace.
Well, you made some shorts. They actually got the little red S and everything on them. So I was just
I think that was when we first met you, because you had
so
done them and told me not to do them.
Holy shit, it takes that long to catch up?
No, you know what's crazy is what I'm noticing is starting to, and this is for any of you guys as well. if you got like David Cohen for you guys, okay? So I interviewed Charles Allen, this and that. I would fix your thumbnail for David Cohen to just be more representative of what he's offering in the video kind of thing. But like when I've interviewed Charles Allen, it's dead for a month. Okay. No one can. I'm not even invested in this stock. Like, but it was dead for a month. Both videos, boom, boom, exploded. You never know what's going to happen. And now it's at a point where like that video is making me like $20 a day for nothing. And it's like, I almost want to interview this guy weekly now and just say, okay, fuck off. Let me just see what happens now for like a year. And you know what I mean? But you never know what videos are going to catch back up
Exactly.
or shorts.
I mean, I look at it this way. I've got that Frankie video that, you know, it doesn't do that much traffic. But if, you know, something ever happened to him that put him really, really big in the news all of a sudden, that video could be gold.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. All of these things, it's, you know, it is no wonder some of you guys do it full time. There's a lot to this. It's not as simple as it seems. I mean, just even thinking of a title, like I sat there today and I thought, well, we've talked about so many things. I mean, there's so much to talk about every week. We do always fill an hour and a half at wow. It's pouring rain here all of a sudden. Like,
yeah, you're going to get wet.
Well, here's the thing about YouTube. The title and the thumbnail are actually more important than the video when it comes to getting some clicks in. And if you put a video up and it's just not doing very well, nothing says you can't change the title and the thumbnail on it. I've done that. I've gone back to a few videos and I've changed the thumbnail, and all of a sudden they start getting hits again.
Interesting. So for all of you that are watching, now you know YouTube is an interesting side hustle. I mean, for each of us, we're still growing and learning, and we couldn't do it without each other. Like, we learn from each other on a regular basis. And doesn't matter whether it's investing, whether it's you want to build a YouTube channel, whether you want to paint some lamps. We could talk about that. I'm really good at that. Or, you know, world events, inflation. I would be really interesting if all of a sudden something happened and we had deflation, or, you know, stagflation or deflation would be a very interesting turn of events. I don't even know if the conditions would ever be such where the government would allow it to go down that far.
Very hard to say.
Yeah.
We have midterms coming up in a few months, so we'll see how much politics affects the Fed. I know that they're not connected, blah, blah, blah. You have to be living under a rock to think one doesn't itch the other one's back kind of thing. But we do have a midterm, so we'll see what happens with respect to how cautious they are. But you got Jerome Powell coming out saying the other day that, like, okay, holy shit, 2 days after he raises his rates, 2 days after they go a quarter point, he comes out and says, whoa, inflation's next level. We're probably going to go a half a point, maybe once or twice next year, just an FYI. It's like, dude, this whole, it's transitory. It's like, stop treating me like a 3-year-old kid, because it's like they're weaning us into this. And it's like, I don't know if it's because of the fact that there is midterm elections and we can't be pounded with it without then immediately thinking that everything is destroyed. So it's like, I don't think we're going to have the ultimate destruction. I think Ken nailed it when he said Black Friday. But I don't think about it as Black Friday. I think about it as just the time after elections. And then I think reality hits because Biden's there regardless. He'll either finish his term or die. Simple as that. But
were you angered by the announcement that the NDP is officially going to combine and make a majority Liberal government? Did that bother you?
The fact that they didn't make it kind of legally so, in such that they didn't form a coalition, but instead what seems like a backroom deal, handshaking for pharmacare, okay, just so that they wouldn't vote against for a non-confidence? Yeah, because you could have formed a coalition. So why didn't you form an official coalition legally?
Mm-hmm. That's what they should have done.
No, but yeah, they should have. Because it's like, Trudeau, you are fucking brutal. Yeah. Like, you're using us, you're using the NDP. Everyone thinks you're a joke. Like, it's at a point where it was like, if there's one thing you would expect Trudeau to do, that was how he would do it. the most underhanded, illogical way known to man. I mean, forming a coalition, what are you going to say? It's a coalition, whatever. We'll fight the coalition. But a backroom ass handshake. Okay, we won't vote you out because everyone else wants you out. We won't vote with them, but give us dental care and pharmacare. Also, when are they going to start introducing the debate for dental care and pharmacare? 2025 or 2023 or whatever, when the pact is over. Is either Jagmeet Singh the biggest dumbass on the planet, or is he both a dumbass and Trudeau a fucking asshole? Like, there's no scenario where there's
What was it? Yeah, what was Jagmeet's purpose?
dental care and prescription drugs.
Yeah, well, they're actually talking about bringing the dental care in like waves. So the first wave is going to be 18 and under, or sorry, 12 and under will get free dental care, and then 18 and under, and then by 2025, everybody who makes less than 90,000 would have it, which would be the end of the actual deal.
Yeah, so let's put it this way. When the majority of people who you actually go to the dentist need it, deal's over, right? Like, Trudeau's not an idiot, but it kind of exposed that, whoa, the NDP and Jagmeet Singh are total idiots. And Trudeau's walking over everything. I mean, when you have ministers and presidents and prime ministers of the European Union standing up this week in Europe saying, you know, we've been through some shit, but not even we do this. And this is what Canada's doing.
But here's that thing, though. When you say the deal's over at the end of 2025, the legislation, though, will be in place for this to go forward.
Who's going to be prime minister in 2025, and how easily do you think that's going to be able to change?
I just don't think. I think once you've given the people something like dental care, whoever comes in on the Conservatives, I don't think they're going to.
Oh, no, but the thing is, though, by 2025, adults are not going to have dental care. You'll have just form of youth and students, maybe those at risk, whatever. You're not going to have the broad population have dental care by the time this is over. Of course, they're going to be able to say we're cutting this. So kids will keep it. Great. Okay, who cares? Kids will keep it. Fantastic. The adults gain nothing. Gain nothing. Like, this was
what I wonder is, where are they going to get the money to cover this? Like, we don't have enough money to cover what we've just done. Where is the money coming from?
Nancy, every time I call out the government, I get dislikes on my videos, on my market closes. And I brought up this thing the other day. It was from the Financial Post, interviewing business owners, economists, and I guess managers of these Canadian tax funds or whatever the fuck, these Canadian tax federations. And every single point in there, and it's like, I only briefly skimmed over it. I always show the title so people can look it up. They can still do that. But it blew my mind. Every fucking one of them was like, it was weird though, because the one thing they didn't mention at all was the economy. Everyone, different organizations. It's like they're printing cash. Trudeau doesn't understand the value of it. He's said already 1,000 times that he doesn't spend his time thinking about the economy. Clearly. I mean, our housing starts are flat. Our GDP is fucking flatlining. Our businesses and unions can't figure out left from right now because of the labor pressures and wage increases that are being demanded at the same time. Like, this is, I mean, fuck, we were good in 2008. We're not going to be this good this time. Sorry, Tim.
I don't think so. Candace, I know he talked over you, but do you have any counterpoints on that?
Sorry, Candace.
That's okay. I'm just saying, even though they said that everything ends at 2025, but the legislation to have for the adults is supposed to be completed before the end of 2025. So before it actually expires. So the legislation is supposed to be in place, but I mean, sure, the new Conservative government could definitely try to cut it back. That's not outside the realm of possibilities, but other than that, everything else I agree with. I mean, there was no talk about where this money's coming from. There was no talk about the actual economy. We also, I mean, as a member of NATO, we also still have to get up to our military is still too small. We're not hitting the required number. So,
right.
Also, Canada fucked up the other day pretty bad. And one of the government members or one of the minister's assistants, I don't know, Secretary of Defense, said that when we had, or not secretary, sorry, I'm mumbling this all up. But when we had sent all of our supplies over to Ukraine, that left our own Canadian forces devastatingly depleted.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do we tell people these things? Like, why are we, I mean, is there no, it just feels like.
Yeah, it's like telling a bully, I've sent my big brother over there, and I'm all by myself over here. Come kick me while I'm down.
I mean, way to make us sound like America's bitch. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
we are.
I know, but it's
like we just are.
It's just, do we have to say it every 5 minutes? It's like, oh, just an FYI, we sent like 7 grenades to Ukraine, so we got nothing left. It's like, oh God.
Jason Spooner says the swear jar is hitting all-time high tonight.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, by saying that, hey, we sent everything over to Ukraine, now we've got nothing for ourselves, we're going to start spending some money on it. People aren't going to be so, oh, don't spend that money, because they're going to be like, yeah, because we need to have some stuff for ourselves too.
Yeah, but it's our fault because we're the ones that knocked the U.S. back to the White House and burned it down back in when 1812 or something. That's why they built themselves a powerhouse of a military, right? It's our fault.
Gary says, what about electric cars and the government trying to figure out a way to collect road tax from them? Because right now they can collect the tax from our gasoline that we guzzle, take big tax for roads. What's going to happen when we don't have gas?
They just have a different meter set up to the supercharger.
Yeah.
Charging stations.
Yeah.
Is where they're gonna make their money.
Yeah, they'll put a tax on the charging station
on three tanks of gas anymore, whatever it is. That's just a number. They're gonna have to stop every 50 meters to plug their little putts in, and that's where they're gonna have to pay the extra tax. Don't kid yourself. It's the same question you can ask yourself as where are we going to replace the $1 billion? I know where you're going to say, Ryan, for the foul tags that we're not putting on the license plates here in Ontario. Where's all this money? You know, they'll find it. We just haven't been told what our new taxes are yet in order to cover all this stuff.
Well, that's because Ford's not going to tell you till after the election.
Well, of course he's not. And going back to this dental stuff, what exactly is covered under the dental plan?
You want to hear something that really grinds my gears? Because I said this and I try to be as unbiased as humanly possible. Lower prices for prescription drugs directly impact my family, not me, but directly impact my family. Dental care is right now only available to those who come here as under a refugee status. They have immediate dental care and they have it for free. Dental care for everyone would be incredible. I mean, there are benefits to it. But to your point, Tim, I mean, outside of the age limitations and Candace, and when they said they hope it's good to go, come on.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Here's what
no detail.
Here's what I see as one avenue is that we don't know what is under the dental care, but what it could possibly do is it could make other things that are covered now under group benefits, not covered under these new dental care so out of reach, like braces, like root canals, like whatever, that we solve one problem as a political promise, but create another health problem as a result of it.
Well, let's put it this way. They've costed it at $11.3 billion for just the pharmaceutical aspect of it. Forget dental, okay? That's year one. Give it 5 years before these companies, dentists, and whoever realize that they're dealing with the easiest customer in the world to sell because they have to, and prices are doubled or tripled. Simple as that. That's why our drug prices in Canada, we don't get the same quality of drugs they do in the United States because we're not willing to pay, and therefore we get off market half the time. Like, this is not good. Any form of public healthcare to me is bad. Public healthcare should be there as a worst case scenario, and private healthcare needs to friggin' be there. Publicizing more of healthcare is so bad.
Yeah. We have to be careful because what's going to happen is potentially the group benefits people are going to say, no problem, free dental care, which you take away from us as an income generator from our group benefits. Anything that's not covered, boom, going to be through the nose.
Yeah, well, my understanding from what I read is that what's going to be covered is regular dental maintenance and emergency.
Okay.
What the fuck does that mean?
It. So that would be like a root canal, or something that they have to pull or they have to operate on.
I get it. So just no cosmetic.
No cosmetic, exactly.
So everything, though, basically for the average person.
That's a lot of money for a root canal.
And this is
one of the things they did say is they said that hospitals right now are already dealing with a lot of people who come in there and waste their time with dental issues because they can't afford a dentist and the hospitals have to send them away. And they're saying that just the administration on that is millions.
Oh God, I feel like seriously focusing on this is like there are so many bigger problems to worry about than someone's teeth.
Well, and did you know that they have the dental bus that goes around to low income areas, and you can get your dental work done if you're in a low income area.
Dental work, okay? Look, brush your fucking teeth. Like you do that from when you're a kid. You keep good hygiene. I mean, at the end of the day, I have one molar in my mouth that is genetically whacked out. I still haven't got it pulled out, growing in all funny. But unless you have a mouth like that, how hard is it to keep your mouth clean? I'm just saying clean. I'm not saying looking normal like braces.
Yeah, but it could be genetic too, right?
A dirty mouth is genetics? Like, I know breath.
No, your teeth growing could be genetic. My mom lost all of her teeth from genetics when she was 19. She had to have them all pulled out. My brother has had bad teeth.
Okay, I'm not an expert. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
And, you know, cavities are caused from having a dry mouth.
Cavities are caused by a dry mouth?
Yes, because it changes the bacteria in your spit. It's not caused by sugar.
Oh my gosh.
That's why smokers end up with more cavities, right? Because you're smoking a cigarette and that dries your mouth out.
Interesting.
I found that.
So do you have to drink more water then?
Yes.
If you smoke but drink a lot of water, you're okay?
Kinda, yeah.
Like I've never had a cavity in my life, but it does dry my mouth out.
Yeah, look it up. Cavities are caused by a dry mouth. It changes the acid in your spit, which causes the cavity.
Though apparently smoking and drinking water at the same time puts out your cigarette.
Not if you drink it up your nose.
No. You drink the water through your nose, put the cigarette in the nostril.
There we go.
Ew. Anyways, last week we talked about feet. This week we talked about teeth. Crypto night in Canada. Now we used to talk about pineapple on pizza and peanut butter in strange places, but now we're talking about body parts. It's
next time there's a Friday night nacho deal going on there on the Oracles, I dare you to put peanut butter on it.
Yeah. If you guys want a good cleanser to sort of get the feet out of your mouth and all of that, go to Redbeard's World. He has these really great shorts with some awesome quotes that are very inspirational. It's worth checking out. If you guys have not checked out Redbeard's World yet, he's one of us. Go there, check him out. He's awesome.
I'm going to Redbeard's World. Here I come. Anyways, this has been a fun chat tonight. Thank you guys for all of your time and energy. Candace, thanks again for the metaverse stuff. I really enjoy that every week. Thank you to everybody that's hung out with us for the almost 2 hours. And if nothing else, we do have a diverse set of opinions on this. And that's what I love about it. I grow and I learn from each and every one of you every week. And for that, I am truly grateful. Have a good night, everybody.